Hello friends, welcome back. I am Trilochan. Let's continue with Python series. In the previous tutorial, we had discussed the fundamental concept of object-oriented programming in Python. In this tutorial, we'll discuss the core functionality of Python objects and classes, and we'll learn what a class is and how to create it and use it in our program. Okay, so a Python is an object-oriented programming language, as I told in previous tutorial, procedure-oriented programming, where the main emphasis is on functions. Object-oriented programming stresses on objects. An object is simple a collection of variables and functions, or you can say methods, that act on those data. Similarly, a class is a blueprint for that object, right? You can think of a class as a sketch or prototype of a human. As previous tutorial we have already discussed about the class human, as you also see in my screen, that is class human. Okay, it contains all the details about the name, age and occupation, height, etc. Based on these descriptions, we can create personal biodata. We are the object of human class. Like I can create an object Trilochan of human class. Okay, so these are the objects I already discussed. We have already discussed in the previous tutorial how to create an object here. Okay, so as many people can be made from humans blueprint. You can, like, here human is a class and this is blueprint. As I said, we can create many objects from a class. An object is also called an instance of class. Okay, the process of creating this object is called instantiation. Okay, so let's understand what is class and how to define that. Here already I have written class and human. Okay, so like function definition begins with def keyword in Python, right? Class definition begins with class keyword. Okay, the first string inside the class is called docstring. As function also we have defined the docstring. Okay, here you can also define the docstring, and that has a brief description about the class. Okay, but this is not mandatory but highly recommended. I will recommend you to write the docstring, because every class should have a docstring so that you can recognize, or further use, you can recognize why we have written this class. Okay, a class creates a new local namespace where all its attributes are defined. So attributes may be variable and or functions, as I said. Okay, so here you can like lot of function, special function is there, I have told you. So there are also special attributes. Okay, in the begins with a double underscore. So the as previous tutorial we had discussed double underscore init double underscore. So that was the another special function or method we have discussed. Okay, so here let me tell you, here suppose human, so let me define one attributes here. As previous tutorial we have defined name equals to, I can define here Trilochan. Okay, so this is one of the attribute here, so no need of pass now. So I think you understand what is pass, right? So here we can define one more definition. Okay, so suppose here definition is anything I can write, suppose greet me. Okay, here it is. So for definition, just you can write print hello Trilochan. Yes, So this is one definition within the class. So this is called method. Here we will pass the self. So I will tell you why we have written this self. At least one parameter is passed. Okay. So here if you print this one, let me outside of this, then first print human dot name. Okay, so next we will print this function. Okay, print human dot greet me. Okay, so this is we have done like human dot name and human dot greet me. Let's run this one. Python 3, here it is, enter. So first one is printed Trilogen and second one is function name greet at this. Okay, as you saw, like as soon as we define a class, the human class, a new class object is created with the same name. This is human. Okay, this class object allows us to access the different attributes as well as to instantiate new object of that class. Okay, so this class is behave like a default object for that class. So like we can create a object now, and how we can access the same attributes, let's see. Okay, it can also be used to create new object instance of that class. The procedure to create an object is similar to a function call. So let me show you here. So Trilogen, let me create another function, object equals to human. This is similar to function call, right? So here this is an object. Through this object we can also access same attributes. Yeah, let me change this one and execute. Here it is. The same we did, previously we did with human, that the default object of that class, and we have created now another object of the same class. Let me execute it. Here it is. The same Trilogen name Trilogen, and this is a function. Okay, you may have noticed the self parameter in the function definition inside the class, but we call the method simply, like here you can call this method Trilogen dot greet me here. Okay, without any argument, so it still worked. This is because whenever an object calls its method, the object itself is passed as the first argument. So Trilogen greet me translate into Trilogen greet me. Here Trilogen, it looks like this. Okay. So in general, calling a method with a list of n arguments is equivalent to calling the corresponding functions with an argument list that is created by inserting the method's object before the first argument. For these reasons, the first argument of the function in class must be the object itself. This is conventionally called self. It can be named otherwise, but I will recommend to follow this convention. Okay, so let's discuss constructor. Constructor in Python, like we have already discussed in the previous tutorial, that definition in it. Okay, the class functions that begins with double underscore are called special functions as they have special meaning. Of one particular interest, like we have discussed init function, this is special function. Special function gets called whenever a new object of that class is instantiated. This type of function is also called constructor in object oriented programming. We normally use it to initialize all the variables as we did in the previous tutorial. Let me show you again here. So definition of underscore name self. Okay, so here you can pass name. As I said, it is help to use the initialize all the variable. So self dot name equals to name. So this is the way you can define this function. Okay, so I hope you like this video. Please do like, share, comment and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.